I made Roman Reigns in Wrestling Empire and sent him throughout an entire year in Wrestling Empire's career mode. But if Roman Reigns loses a match, someone will die. The challenge only ends in 3 ways. Number 1, I win a championship. Number 2, we get through the entire year. Or number 3, I die. So let's get into it. The first thing we do is edit Roman Reigns' model because it's incredibly outdated to the point of insanity. When did Roman ever wear white in real life? Okay, so after some editing, ta-da! Doesn't he look so accurate? Stephanie explains to us how the game works and we just ignore her, so we go out and wrestle. We still build Amat's title and run away since it's showtime, and Roman Reigns' first opponent is Bray Wyatt. Wyatt takes a disgusting bump off the turnbuckle. Roman roars in the ring and spears the ref, who's Jim Ross for some reason. Brody Lee tries to get involved, but the Tribal Chief blows him away. Roman Reigns pulls a 40 chest move by beating up Bray Wyatt and waiting for the ref to count him out, and Roman wins. Bray says that's a load of baloney, I want a rematch, so we accept the challenge and Roman Reigns hits him with the spear and it's over. The Tribal Chief wins again. Stephanie berates us about destroying tables and makes us pay a fine. So we pay the fine like the good man we are, and then choke her out on the concrete floor. The next match is a match against Brody Lee, who's berating us about beating Wyatt last week as he's on the turnbuckle. Bray gets a sneak attack onto Reigns and suplexes him to the outside of the ring. Literally. After a confrontation, Roman beats Harper with a spear, and Harper is very sad. Look how sad he is. Just look at him. After the match, we get called into Stephanie's office again, and she offers us steroids for $1,400. We decline because we're Roman Reigns, and we don't need that shit to succeed. So we get put in a tag match with both Wyatt and Harper, and Rollins is our tag team partner. Paul Bearer is the ref and tells us what the match is. This match felt like it went on for hours, as the gameplay is, clunky. Rollins goes to the top of the cage to finish the story. He's really far away, but he's like, screw it, go for the drop kick. He completely misses, and then Harper pins us for the 3. We lost in the saddest way possible, and it's time for Roman to go hog wild on Wrestling Empire. We switched versions of the game because that's where the mod is that I have installed. And I forgot that I started the career of Crucial Kennedy. We had to retire Kennedy for Roman Reigns. And after retiring, we got this lovely message from M. Dickey. Thanks M. Dickey. So now it's time to go on our murderous rampage. And our first victim was Kane, but he didn't die, so we kept moving on. Instead of just doing a match, we just tried to kill anybody and everybody we see. And that worked out pretty well because we killed 4 different people. We killed Stephanie McMahon, who owns the company that we work for. We killed Road Dogg, which I don't think anyone gives a shit about. Test, who's been dead for like 10 years. And poor Minoru Suzuki. Only Minoru Suzuki gets a funeral. Paul, please do the honors for the fallen. Ding! 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 Thank you, Paul. Rollins and Reigns defeat Gangrel and The Miz in a tag match. Stephanie, who is now alive after dying, made us get a new haircut, which is the ultimate punishment for Roman. We try to decline, but she's like, well, we already did it. Sorry, brother. Let's deal with it. The next week, we're put in a tag match with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, and for some reason, Roman Reigns becomes a misogynist and shits on the women for being women. I guess he was right, kinda. Please don't be misogynistic towards women, everyone. Because both women get clobbered by Reigns and Rollins. Then Stephanie fines us $100 for domestic abuse. Stephanie forces us to increase our agility or else we get fired. Jesus, what is wrong with you, Stephanie? Oh, yeah, that. We actually get a title shot for the tag titles, possibly ending this video already. But it goes on to a no contest because Rollins won't go for a goddamn count pinfall. Stephanie then offers us steroids again, and we tell her to screw off. What is she, like Walter White or something? We don't get booked as a punishment for not taking the steroids. And then the next week we get booked against The Undertaker and get absolutely steamrolled. Roman jobs out after a tombstone piledriver and complains about Undertaker having interference in his match, which is the most hypocritical thing I've ever seen, coming from the guy who has some sort of interference in every match since 2020. Rollins wants us to dress up like him, and we tell him to dress like us, which he declines. Now it's time for someone to die. After punching everyone left, right, and center, we end up with 20 pages worth of information, and we learn that Ricky Steamboat and Mr. T have died, so we must honor the fallen once again.
Ding! Ding!
So after going on our rampage, we get a match with two guys that have pissed the tribal chief off recently, Kane and the Undertaker. As we get put into a Roman gets his revenge by beating the out of the Undertaker and laughing at him as he lays on the mat crying, I guess. Stephanie then wants us to ref a match. We take it because it's easy cash for us to spend on Roman's tropical forest on the island of relevancy somewhere. Godfather wins and then something unexpected happens. The honky tonk man dies of natural causes. Paul, please do your thing.
Ding!
We try to go to the funeral of Honky Tonk Man, but Stephanie approaches us and tells us our attitude is terrible. Oh gee, I wonder why. And tells us if we still have the same crappy attitude, we'll be fired. I then grab a pizza and throw up everywhere as Road Dogg looks at us like, bro, what are you doing? This is supposed to be a memorial show for all the great things the Honky Tonk Man accomplished. We have to go to a press conference to hype up the match versus the Terminator on a memorial show. It's a table match, and 30 seconds in, Chris just pushes through the table and wins. Our profile suffered because we lost. Although Roman did lose, due to Honky Tonk Man's death, that counts. Therefore, he is the only one that dies this time. We get put into a 17-person battle royal, which starts with us and, of course, The Undertaker. Knowing this match would go on for far too long, I decided to sim the match and accept my loss. But Roman actually wins the battle royal in an absolute miracle. Roman then demands a title shot for the Universal title against Triple H. Do we get one? Haha! Of course not. We get a tag match against Rikishi and Randy Orton, which we win. Next week, we get to fight Gangrel again. Gangrel complains about us not losing my smile and being in high spirits, so we beat him, really making him lose his smile.
Lost a lot of things, and one of them has been my smile.
D'Lo Brown was asking us to give him money, but we declined because the tribal chief doesn't do favors for anyone. The next week, we get into another match against Gangrel, who's now complaining about how he hates this company and can't wait to leave. So we beat his ass and send him out of the company, probably. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are on the train, and Seth is confessing his love to Roman, probably. The next week, we get put in a tag match with two of our greatest rivals, Bray Wyatt and Gangrel, who's supposed to be leaving, but I guess not. We beat them again, and Stephanie pulls us into her office, telling us that we're winning too much and making the talent look bad. So unless we lose to someone purposely, we'll get fired. Being good at something can lead you to getting fired. The next match was a triple threat with Kane and AJ Lee. Seriously, why do I fight the same people every week? This match was a freaking nightmare. It sucked. And it actually started to get to me, pissing me off, and the match ends in a no contest because no one can get any pinfalls in a triple threat match. The next week, Stephanie wants to talk to me and asks me to take a pay cut. When I obviously decline, the tribal chief never takes pay cuts. She fires me! Yep, she freaking fired me for not taking a pay cut on my already negotiated contract. So both me and Rollins send our greetings and beat up Triple H and Stephanie on our way out the door. Our first opponent being on the free agency is a guy named Shank. A prisoner named Shank. Anyways, Roman Reigns takes on Shank and does what a recently released tribal chief would do. By injuring Shank, of course. Roman goes to the outside to grab Shank and pin him, but Roman gets counted out and is eliminated with Shank. Fortunately, we have a Hillbilly Jim in our corner and he wins us the match. I love you, Hillbilly. Yeehaw. We find out that Shank suffered an injury to his thigh and will be out for 5 weeks. Coach Emerson tells us we have to pay for Shank's medical bills, so we do so because we kind of feel bad for him because we injured him. The next week, we get put in a match with the Booger Man, Bastion Booger, the most disgusting wrestler ever to exist. The match goes to a no contest, but Gorilla tells us the match will be restarted. So we get to beat Booger in the restart, and after the match, we're in the interview room with Shank, who tells us we scarred him for life and he wants us to feel his pain, even though I paid for his medical bills, the piece of shit. Roman then kicks Shank's friend's ass and runs away to the hospital to beat up Shank. Shank's like, alright, stop beating me up, please. Coach Emerson berates us for beating up Shank and his friend and tells us that we're off the card. The next week, we're fighting a random match with Seabreeze. I don't even know who that is, but Oh well. And Coach Emerson tells us that we were a bit too wild and tells us that we have to pay for the damages. We decline, and Coach tells us that we're off the show again. But then something unexpected happens. Paul Heyman, the special counsel for Roman Reigns, offers us a contract to work for his promotion. So we took the offer, and now we're a part of Strong Style Wrestling. Heyman asks us if we want to re-sign Jeff Jarrett, and we tell him, no I don't, so Jarrett will be released. Oops. We run to the hospital and find our old friend Shank. We beat him up because that's what we do at this point. We get put into another war match with the cage, and the worst thing happens. Roman gets injured. We lose the match to Eddie Schwartz, and he laughs at us for losing our winning streak. Haha, you lost your winning streak, dingus. Yeah, I got injured, you dumb. Anyways, we found out after the match that we weren't injured. However, it's time for someone to perish. So it's time once again. We attend the funeral of Mr. T as some lady yells at us for killing him, and we're like, yeah, we did that, sorry. After this, we go on our rampage, attacking everyone and everywhere, and JR tells us that we're off the card for beating too many people up. We find out the next week that Brother Love has died. Ding! Also, Invincible is the toughest wrestler in the world. Wow, I can't believe that. A guy named Invincible is the toughest in the world. After murdering Brother Love, we get into a confrontation match with the special counsel Paul Heyman. Why? Why would you do this to us? You betrayed us. He tells us that he's tired of carrying us and wants to split. So Roman pulverizes Heyman into trying to come back for us. We're in the barbershop, and I think Lance Storm, I think that's who it is. He asks us if we want to pay him to take out Low Ki. We accept the offer and then find out something insane. This is a title match. Low Ki is a champion, and we paid someone to beat up the champion. Is this the beginning of the end? When Low Ki comes out, he yells at Lance Storm in the back about getting ambushed and threatens to beat him up. Despite Low Ki's best efforts, he would lose the title to us, and Roman Reigns becomes the new champion. Woohoo! We celebrate by chucking Low Ki out of the ring, and we get the message that we're the new champion. Yay! So let's sum everything up. The amount of people that Roman Reigns murdered, 8. The amount of people that Roman Reigns injured, 30. And Roman Reigns' career length, 6 months. And that's it. See ya.